Hello again, basketball fans. Welcome to another edition of High School Hoops Weekly. I am Aaron Schoonmaker, alongside, as always, with Powell Latimer. We are at the Ashley High School gym once again. Yes, we have been here before. That was for the boys. This time it's all about the girls. The girls lost a few starters last year. They're right back onto the top of the Mideastern. They're coming fresh off a big win last night against Rose. Powell, tell us about that, and then get into your interview that you had with Coach just a little bit.
I caught up with Coach Adrienne Gale of Ashley. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first, Ashley's 11-2 this year, in case anybody hadn't noticed. Lost a lot of players off that conference championship team last year, but also got a lot back. Like I said, they're 11-2 atop the Mideastern, and just Monday night, a 48-46 win against Rose. Rachel Hutton, Ashley's senior point guard, hit a buzzer-beating shot to give Ashley the win and an early advantage in the Mideastern Conference. So a big win for them that night, and shaping up to be a pretty solid season for Ashley.
Absolutely, and I know you caught up with Coach just a little bit earlier before practice. Let's get into that interview a little bit right now.
All right, I'm here with Ashley girls coach Adrienne Gale. The Ashley girls are on top of the Mideastern Conference right now. They are 11-2 on the season, off a big win last night against Rose. Had a last-second buzzer-beater shot to take the win against Rose. Coach Gale, you guys lost just about everybody off that team last year that was conference champs, and yet you're still at the top of the conference this year. What's been going right for you guys, and what's kept you guys at the top of the Mideastern?
Well, it didn't hurt to return our leading scorer from last season. So, you know, to have your leading scorer back, that means a lot. Because you're probably, besides last night, guaranteed points from her every game. But last night she got a little shutout, only had 1 point from the foul line.
A lot of new faces for Ashley out there. A lot of underclassmen. Felicity Havens has been a girl that's scored some points for you. Obviously, Crystal Harrell, you mentioned her, is also a junior. What's the difference between trying to get some younger guys to step up and play as opposed to having the seniors that you did last year?
It's challenging and frustrating at the same time. I mean, it's good to see the youth and, you know, just them going out there and ready to play and wanting it. But sometimes you have to kind of take a couple of steps back and realize, you know, even though they're out there on the court for you as a varsity team, they're coming from middle school, or they may be coming from JV where they're not used to the tempo of the game, etc. So, you know, sometimes I just have to catch myself kind of making a little, you know, step back and say, all right, look, take it easy on them, just explain it a little bit better. You know, they don't get it. They don't get it yet and understand, but they are. And I think that's what's, you know, given us an 11-2 record as of right now, is because they are learning quick. They are listening. They're very coachable. They work hard. So they're, you know, trying to make adjustments as quickly as they can.
Got you. And Ashley, as anyone who's seen the scorelines knows, Ashley gets it done with the defense. A very good defensive team. How much of emphasis is that, and how important has the defense been just in your team's season so far?
Huge. And it's starting to kind of play a toll on us now because our offense isn't as smooth as it should be this time of year because, you know, first couple of weeks of the season, we're going defense. We're not even really, I don't care if we learn to play. You know, we talk about it constantly. They know from me how important it is. So they know that they got to play defense in order to play for me. If they're not going to choose to play defense, they're going to be sitting next to me instead of out in the court playing. So they understand that, and they know that you know, they work hard at practice so they can get better at defense so they can get playing time.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, Pal, for that. You know, they've got some good stuff going on. It looks like, you know, they're going to make another good run at it. But we got some other storylines in the Mideastern. Let's get into a couple of those right now. I
was over at Laney for the Laney-Hogger game. A big game boys-wise. Laney came away with a win. They're still perfect on the season. That's 12-0. According to Fred Lynch, that's the best start they've been off to since the second year of coaching. And he's been there, you know, since you're using oil lamps. So that's a good. Obviously, Laney's got a very good team. 65-62 win against Hoggard. Still want to white in that game. Obviously, the Hoggard star player had a huge game. 15 points in the fourth quarter. Almost brought him back. He had 22 on the game. Couldn't quite pull it off. So Laney continues to be dominant in the Mideastern Conference. Elsewhere in the boys, New Hanover took a win against New Bern, another big win in the Mideastern Conference. And Rose also defeated Ashley in the boys. I'm sorry, Ashley also defeated Rose, in the boys last night. A big win for Ashley in a Mideastern Conference. It's going to be super tight. We've talked about it before. Any win you can get is going to be a big win. You know, also in the WACCAMAW Conference, moving on, North Brunswick has had one heck of a season in both boys and girls so far. In girls, North Brunswick stole a win from South Columbus. That puts them at 3-0 in that WACCAMAW conference and 8-3 overall. That puts them right up there with East Bladen, shaping up for a pretty big game coming up here in a little bit when they take on Courtney Melvin and Jasmine Kemp with East Bladen.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we've talked about what's been going on, and we've talked about the Mideastern and the WACCAMAW. Let's focus a little bit more on that WACCAMAW and what's coming up ahead for that.
Absolutely. You know, looking ahead, North Brunswick, South Brunswick, that big Brunswick County rivalry going down on Friday. The second chapter of those teams. It was a great game the last time these two teams met, and the boys, a pretty good game of the girls as well.
Yep.
I'm looking for more solid action. Also, a guy named LeGrand Rosenbro, which is probably the best name that I've ever heard of, so got to check that guy out. Pretty solid player, too. Pender up in Tri-County is taking on Laney. The second chapter of that Pender-Laney series. Pender, they're going to play anybody. You know, Gary Battle will show up anywhere, anytime. So that final chapter, that Pender taking on 4A schools, happens January 10th. So look out for that. Also, East Bladen and North Brunswick, that big girls game. Huge game girls-wise. The implications of that conference. East Bladen has not lost a regular season game in 2 years. I'm sorry, has lost one. They lost once against Southview in the tournament in the Time Warner Cable Classic earlier this year. But that's it.
That's it.
They don't lose. They really don't lose. Courtney Melvin, Jasmine Kemp, we've talked about it ad nauseum, at length.
Right.
They're very good players. North Brunswick will be a tough challenge. Travis Fortune's got his team playing really well. They play really good defense. Also, another big game girls-wise, the Hoggard girls coming off a tough win against Laney that was tougher than they thought it was going to be. Take on New Bern. New Bern's 9-3. Ray Beatty told me last night that he was a little bit worried about New Bern, that his team needed to be better. Hoggard, New Bern, two of the best teams in the Mideastern Conference alongside Ashley, so a big game with conference implications going down the stretch.
I know off camera we were talking with Coach Adrienne Gale, and she'd mentioned that New Bern team is tough, and she's looking forward to that matchup as well. And she said that it might almost be an upset for her to beat them, so let's look for Hoggard to put up a big post there, so we'll see how that one goes. Well, it's about that time now, pal. They need to hear what you're thinking. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3 points. Let's go from behind the arc. Give me your three-pointer for the week.
I'm going to step back and take a jump shot here. The things that I've been thinking about, perfect Laney. Laney's been perfect. I mean, and at the start of the season, we talked about, you know, Laney hadn't played anybody, they hadn't really had the best competition. Well, now they have. Beating Hoggard twice, beating New Hanover once. That's some good wins for that Laney team. They're a team that's going to be filthy to watch out for. Nobody wants to play them right now. They attack the rim like nobody else. Got 7 guys, really 8 players that can score. Such a dangerous team. Also coming up, it's a whole new season. All the non-conference schedules are done. We're into conference play now. Watch out, it's a whole new season. Now is when you decide who's going to the playoffs, what the seedings are, and who's going to have a really good season. And everybody knows that, and especially New Hanover County, if you don't win that county rivalry games, nobody remembers the season. Doesn't matter what you did elsewhere, got to win the county rivalry games. So that's things are getting a little bit more intense. And like we talked about earlier, this WACCAMAW conference fight in the girls race, North Brunswick has looked better and better every time I've seen him. Didn't look that great the first time I saw him. Looked really good the second time I saw him, and looked even better the next time. I'm anticipating that they'll be really good, steamrolling towards that matchup with East Bladen, which really is. Patty Edwards would love her club to get some competition in the conference. I'm sure she's excited about the potential for that fight in the WACCAMAW girls. So those are the things I'm thinking about, and we'll get more coverage from all of those things coming up in the next few weeks.
Conference competition, beating your rivals, and an undefeated Laney. Lots to look forward to. We got a full week coming up with basketball. We're going to get to all of it, try to get you highlights. We've got highlights for you from this week. You're already on the website. We've got stats updated, standings updated. Keep checking out what you can, why you can. You're already here. And be sure to come back next week. For Powell, I'm Aaron for High School Hoops Weekly. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.